to give you a brief information about the Shillong Law College. To begin with, the Shillong Law College, with its motto, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield, was established in the year 1964. It was the outcome of the efforts made by the then eminent persons of the city. In the year 2000, the college was converted from an evening college to a day college, and teaching faculties were appointed based on the Bar Council of India and the university rules and regulations. The college has been enlisted under Section 2F and 12B of the UGC Act of 1956. Initially, the college was affiliated to Guwahati University when Meghalaya was still very much part of Assam government. In the year 1973, when the North-Eastern Hill University was established, the college then came under the umbrella of North-Eastern Hill University and was therefore granted permission affiliation in 2007. And at present, the college is imparting 3-year LLB course Supreme Court judge. Many of the alumni of this college are working in various departments with the government of Meghalaya. The Shillong Law College, in collaboration with Cape Comoros Trust of India, organized an international conference on the theme Multidisciplinary Socio-Economic and Cultural Studies from the 1st to the 3rd of July 2021. Now, the link for this program has been sent to all the registered participants, and please kindly check your emails, and it will be the same during the entire conference. Now, without much further ado, I would like to call upon our respected principal, Dr. Sharif Uddin, Associate Professor of Shillong Law College, to give a welcome speech. Sir is one of the renowned person here in Meghalaya. He has authored 3 books relating to environment and also a book on land system here in Meghalaya. He has published various articles in journals, and so may we please invite upon Sir to give us the welcome speech. Sir?
Yes. On behalf of the Shillong Law College family, I would like to welcome all to this program. Basically, this is an international conference on multidisciplinary socio-economic and cultural studies. So on behalf of the organizers and the Shillong Law College, I would like to welcome all participants to this program today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your speech. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir, for your speech. And now we would like to call upon Dr. M. Kharshiyeng, who is also the professor here in Shillong Law College, and she has published various articles, and she's also authored many books as well. So now may we invite upon Dr. M. Kharshiyeng to kindly give us the inaugural speech.
Good morning, everyone. It is a great pleasure for me to declare opened the first day of International Conference, Virtual Conference on Multidisciplinary Socio-Economic and Cultural Studies. I first wish to extend to you the greetings of Shillong Law College. It gives me immense pleasure to further note that this conference is being organized by Shillong Law College in collaboration with Cape Comoros Trust India. I would like to compliment the organizers of this conference for their initiative and their efforts for making this a memorable event. Thank you.
Now we have our respected secretary of our governing body of Shillong Law College, Shri D.B. Guru sir, who was a retired director of accounts and treasury of Government of Meghalaya, may we kindly invite on Sir to give the presidential speech. Since we have a problem from the other end, from Sir Sri D.B. Gurun sir, we will move on to the abstract proceeding. So now we would like to invite on Ma'am Dayahun Maulong, the convener of the international conference, to release the abstract proceedings. Ma'am Daya, can you please give us the abstract proceedings?
A very good morning to everyone present here today. And on behalf of the Shillong Law College and the entire family of Shillong Law College, so we are glad that we are able to organize this program without a very short span of time. So today I'm going to release the abstract proceeding, and there are 85 abstract in this international program, and which are from various fields. They are from law, they are from political science, they are from the various fields. So therefore now I am going to release this abstract proceeding. It is the international virtual program. All right, a conference on it's there. I have printing it in this way, right? And national on economic proceeding is organized by the Shillong Law College and between Shillong East District in collaboration with the Cape Comorin Trust. So I hereby release the entire abstract, 85 abstract here. And since because we don't have much time to mention abstract, so it will be forwarded to your email to all the participants. All right. So thank you very much. I therefore hand over the entire session now to Krishanu.
A very good morning to each and everyone present here. I, Krishanu Dev, I'm a student of this college, Shillong Law College. So, without much ado, I'll welcome our honorable keynote speaker, Dr. S.K. Ramani. Dr. Ramani has been working as an associate professor and heading the Department of Interdisciplinary Studies at the Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, since 2003. She has been a research assistant in the projects sponsored by Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, at Sri Avinashi Lingam Education Trust Institutions, Coimbatore, and also in the project sponsored by World Health Organization at Vector Control Research Center, Pondicherry. She has been awarded MA and doctorate in sociology with specialization in gender studies and social gerontology from Bharatiya University, Coimbatore. She has been shouldering various administrative and academic responsibilities. Also, she is a life member in the Indian Sociological Society, member Ethic Committee for Human Research at Tamil Nadu Government Multi-Super Speciality Hospital, Chennai. Dr. Ramani is also member of the Academic Senate of the Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University. She has published 20 articles in national and international journals, organized seminars and workshops. And most importantly, she has presented 50 papers in various national and international seminars. We warmly welcome you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you.
Good morning. Good morning to all. Is my voice audible? Can I proceed with? Is my voice audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
A very good morning and a happy day for all being part of the 3 days international virtual conference on multidisciplinary socio-economic and cultural studies. It is a very happy moment. So at the outset, I like to render my thanks to the organizers for inviting me to be part of the conference to deliver the keynote address. I like to render my thanks to Dr. R.S. Regin Silvest, President, Cape Comorin Trust, and to all the organizers of the Shillong Law College for all their efforts to organize an international conference in virtual mode in a very short period of time. I thank you all, and I move on now to the topic which I will be going to address. Let me present now. Is my screen is shared?
Yes, ma'am.
The topic which I'm going to highlight today is on the changing perspectives of elderly care in contemporary society. So all of us know this group of people, that is the elderly. It is a group where not much being given importance, not only in India, throughout the world. This population as such has certain issues or problems in which they are facing. And a country like India, which is in the developing scenario, has to show much concern towards this population. So in being specialized in social gerontology, I thought it will be a good area to highlight here today in the conference, where as youngsters will look at this issue in their own perspectives. And as we know, we are being moving to a society of development and changes. Okay, so moving on to my topic, talking about Indian culture. We all know India has its own traditional cultural history, no doubt at all. So, how was this aged population was looked out in Indian culture from the traditional perspectives? Culture, as we know, it involves sharing of your values, traditions, and lifestyles. It can be within a group or within a community. If you take the Vedas, the Vedic rishis, they have given a deep thought to the problems of old age, which has evolved over the social order, which provided social security to human beings. Respect to the elderlies was given much more importance. But as life of an individual also was being regulated harmoniously based on the stages of life we were living. And it was believed in those days an individual life is to be lived for 100 years. And therefore, they demarcated the different 4 stages of life as calling them as brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So now, moving on to the each ashrams, the first one which all of us know is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, I don't say it has not been followed. Yes, it is now being followed in some societies, in some communities of Indian society. So in Brahmacharya, what is proposed to achieve all around is development through formal and informal education. So here the child has to go to the guru's house and get the needed formal education. That was the way of life in those days. So this stage was mainly to facilitate an individual or a child to stand on his own feet for their later stages of life. So moving on to the next stage is Grahastha. So this is the stage where now in contemporary society, every one of us are going to the stage. So Grahastha is a householder life. It was mainly planned to perform all the duties and debts according to the dharma. That is what we call as the righteous function. So in this stage of life, it was suggested that one should acquire the artha, that is the wealth, by utilizing mainly the wisdom and the learned skill, as well as satisfying the kama, the sexual desires, in a righteous manner according to the dharma. So proper unheaped stability, that is through marriage. Okay. Therefore, proper unheaped stability, growth and development of human race, enjoying worldly life, earning money, having children, taking care of the family and its welfare, and performing all the duties required as to bring up the family was given importance. So family and society was considered as the major activities of this stage of life. The third stage is vanaprastha. So here an individual takes up into a stage of becoming a forest dweller. Under this stage, the vanaprastha was intended to hand over all the household duties to one successor and leave the worldly life from luxury and enjoyment. No more family life. You give the responsibilities, whoever is the elder of your family, the son. In those days, son was considered to be the elder family member. And you move into the forest in search of knowledge or search of freedom or search of what you want as such. And the fourth stage, we call it as sannyas. Sannyas is an aesthetic life. So it is depending upon your physical, psychological, familial, social, and spiritual needs. Sannyasis it is an ashram what was meant to give up everything and exclusively perform intense sadhana or deep meditation. So here the aim was to reach the final goal of life is to attain moksha or freedom from all the activities of worldly life and be in particular or for only realization of God. So this system was mainly meant the discipline, peace, harmony in the family as well as in the society.
Ma'am?
Yes?
I'm very sorry to disturb you. Ma'am, your slides are not changing, ma'am.
It's not changing?
No, ma'am.
Now
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
same?
Yes, ma'am. It has changed to sannyas now.
Okay.
Thank you so
So
much.
I will go accordingly because I went to a slide, the larger screen, so it was not okay. Fine. So each of these stages were did you not see the previous slides? Huh? Were you able to see this previous slides?
No, ma'am. We were just on the first slide only.
Okay. So this was my first slide where I was discussing about the brahmacharya.
Maybe there is some technical glitch, ma'am.
Okay. This is the grahastha. Okay, where an individual enters into the family life, where he seeks all wealth and pleasure and give birth to children, take care of the children, etc. And moving on to the third one is the vanaprastha. So here in this stage, vanaprastha is you become a forest dweller. Okay, leave out the family pleasure and move into seek of knowledge and the other things. Then I came to the fourth one is the sannyas. Okay, so sannyas is an aesthetic life. So here you want to attain moksha. Okay, going to the religious path to attain moksha. So if you take with Indian culture, we are all embedded with the principles of karma, what we call it as action. And dharma is the righteous way to do things. Okay, karma determines what we are to do also and what we are at present. So here in the past as well as at the present, both the karma and the dharma doctrines were given much importance in all activities and deeds which we were involved in. On one hand, the dharma, the religion, okay, dharma was based on the religion, which emphasized worship and services mainly to your parents and to your grandparents with a lot of love and reverence. And on the other side, the elders, they were encouraged to leave their homes to become a vanaprasthi or a sannyas. Okay. These were the two deeds which an individual was entitled in those days, in olden days, the traditional society which I'm talking about is. Okay. Here, certain specific duties were also laid to the sannyas. So the study of culture in general, it contributes to the understanding of human behavior and mental process. So when we talk about Indian culture, it has its own traditional knowledge which has been attached to it. So we were in a society where we were undergoing all these four different stages or the four different ashrams. Now, as we have gone into a stage of development or modernization or globalization or urbanization or whatever it might be, okay, so these cultural components which were existing in as a lifetime process for a human being has now changed. Okay, the child getting educated with the Gurukula is now changed. No way existing, very rarest of the rare. The second stage, what we called as the Grihastha, okay, getting into the marital life and leading a life is the most predominant part which is prevailing in our contemporary society. And the third one, Vanapras and Sannyas. Again, the people who are very determined to become a sannyas, it is those who give up that family life, hand over all the responsibilities, wealth, and belongings to the family members, and take up that as becoming or they to search the path of religion or to attain moksha. Okay, so having all this into consideration, now moving on to this topic, the main topic, what I want to highlight here today, how the aged people are being seen in a society like India. So we know aging in India is exponentially increasing due to the impressive gains the society has made in terms of increased life expectancy. No doubt, not only in India, every country in the world has this life expectancy on a raise. With the rising elderly population, the demand for the holistic care for the elderly also tends to grow. That is nature. And it is estimated by the year 2025 that India will be having nearly 840 million elderly population, which will be a real burden to India to take care of their needs. So, aging is not only becoming a burden for Indian society, but the resources what the nation has to meet out the requirements of the aged people is to be looked out under at various levels. So it has raised major concerns for the government of India to cater to the needs of the elderly population. So the aging population is both a medical as well as a social problem. Because as we call it as a medical problem, because once you start aging, you are along with you having a number of health issues that is to be taken care into. And calling it as a sociological problem, like how the society looks at you once you are becoming weak due to your age. So that is also to be taken into care. So the elderly population suffers with lot of morbidity and mortality due to the infectious diseases, which is to be given much concern in old age. Therefore, this demographic transitions in India has shown unevenness and complexities in different stages. The existing medical science, okay, is invariably accompanied by various social, economic, as well as psychological problems in older persons, in addition to the medical problems. Health issue is a major problem, yes, no doubt. Along with the health issue, an elderly people faces various social, economic, and psychological problems. Why I say it is a social problem, yes, later stage they become a burden. And an economic problem if they do not have monetary support or they don't have their own, what do you call, like a bank balance, then they are economically dependent on others. A psychological problem, the family members are no more residing with them. Therefore, they are put into a stage of depression and other issues. Okay. So apart from the medical problem, these three problems are to be greatly looked at into. There is also a need to understand that many of these problems also require a long drug therapy, physical therapy, as well as long-term rehabilitation. As you keep on aging, all these problems keeps on multiplying day by day. It will no way come to a standstill or reduce. So the elderly tend to be cared in a variety of settings. That is, at home, they are to be looked at by the family members, or when they do not have a family member, they are to be sent into nursing homes or daycare centers, or they will be put into geriatric outpatient departments, or into certain other medical units, or even in intensive care units, depending upon the nature of the clinical problems which is being attached to them. Therefore, the care of the elderly necessitates addressing it under various social issues headings. So, taking the needs and problems of the elderly into consideration, it mainly vary according to their age, the socio-economic status, the health conditions of the elderly, the living status of the elderly, and all other background characteristics. So we know in India, not only in India, throughout the world, there is a change in the family structure. But as the developed countries are more into the nuclear family system. But if you take the developing country, India, we are being into a traditional joint family system and now further moving into this nuclear family system. So this family structure change has brought other additional risk for mainly to the aged people. So this old traditional family system was instrumental in safeguarding the social as well as the economic security, and was also providing economic security to the elderly people. And if you take India, the traditional norms and values which had been laying stress as showing respect and providing care to the elderly population. But with the emerging prevalence of this nuclear family setup in recent years, the elderly are being more exposed to emotional, physical, and financial insecurities in the years to come. So, there had been an upward trend in the living arrangement patterns of the elderly. They are more put into staying alone or staying with spouse only. Therefore, the family care of the elderly seems likely to decrease in the future with the economic development of the nation and the trend of modernization of the nation. So the changes, whatever has been emphasized here, due to the changing scenario of the society, the elderly who are to be looked at and to be cared at are lacking the social support, no doubt. So the Indian elderly are being more vulnerable because of the government is spending less on their social security system. Like urban area and rural area always does has a difference. In the urban area, the elderly rely primarily on higher domestic help in order to meet out their needs. And this has been an increasingly a chaotic situation in crowded city. And again, depending on domestic help in the urban elderly also depends upon the economic situation of the population. But most of the elderly who are being put into social isolation and loneliness has also increased in the urban sector. Whatever the insurance to be covered, to be taken care for the elderly is totally non-existence or is less existence in certain parts of India. In addition, the pre-existing illness are usually not covered, making insurance policies unviable to the elders. Not all pension schemes cover the required treatments for the aged. And the pensions and social securities are also very much restricted. Those who had worked mainly in the public sector or in the organized sectors of the industry. So when the elderly are lacking these social support which is being required for their age, either it can be monetary support or social support or psychological support, who will they have to rely on, which becomes a question. Therefore, in a society where elderly population is increasing, lot of social inequality are the existing scenario. As we know, elderly are a heterogeneous society, heterogeneous section, both with an urban as well as in the rural divide. Uh, Rural elderly are, compared to the urban elderly, are less vulnerable. Yes, this is an existing fact because of the prevalence of the joint family system. But all the elderly is not seeing the same view as needs of the problem of elderly, and they are being rejected in most of the cases. And in certain cases, government classifies them based on their caste and other socio-cultural dimensions. Based on a case study report, it was found that major population of the elderly women who were poor with the lowest income per person, with the with primary level of education, with some psychological conditions, health insurance coverages, and with lowest consumption expenditures. Like they were the least likely to have the health insurance coverages. These women are the most affected group in the Indian population, and the women who are with no support, with no family members, either widowed or divorced or separated, are the most sufferers in among the old old people scenario. So this inequality which is existing based on rural and urban divide or between the men and women, again this is an area which is to be given much insight into. So when such problems are existing for a group of people, who will they access to for their needs, for the very basic requirements? So availability, accessibility, and affordability of healthcare becomes a main requirement in old age. So who will meet out their requirements is again a question which I am posting here. So the ever increasing trends of nuclear families, elder care management is becoming very difficult. We all know, I think different regions have different familial setups. Some families are still into the joint family systems, which is a very good positive symptom in the society. But most of the families who are transformed to this nuclear families, they find it very difficult managing the elderly. And when they are sick, that is where I pointed out as managing home care. Who will cater to the needs, whether it will be the nursing agencies or you need the help of the physiotherapist, as well as other medical personalities who have to attend to them when there is an urgency. Therefore, the again, why I'm highlighting here about the health insurance coverages, we know that this growing population will have certain health issues once they are aging. But to what extent the government is providing them with the what do you call that, pensions or old age pension schemes or etc., will not facilitate to meet out their health issues. And the health insurance coverages, it should be given for irrespective of the health problem which they are having in their old age. And one thing which I have to highlight here is the geriatric care has remained a relatively new or a neglected area. Like we have doctors specializing in various fields in almost all multi-specialty hospitals. Very few hospitals are giving importance to this geriatric care. That's why I highlighted here it as a new or a neglected area. You need people who are specialized in this care also. Not all nursing people will be giving the support what is required for the old people. And when we talk about these daycare centers, which cater to the requirements not only for the youngsters but also for the old people are now on a race. Old age residential homes, then counseling and recreational facilities, all these are mostly urban based. We don't find all these which I have highlighted here in the rural areas where most of the population are don't have any idea of what these are or not even heard about this. Therefore, the health insurance policies or like the geriatric care or giving counseling and recreation facilities are to be given equal importance. It should be available, access, and also should be at an affordable rate to both rural as well as the urban elderly population. Therefore, rural areas, geriatric care is becoming a challenge, no doubt. And if you take the morbidity rate, as the rate is being coming down, the social and structural barriers which are being attached to it, the stigma of aging is nowadays becoming a social barrier to access to health. In addition to health, as well as social conditions of the elderly face, such as depression, incontinence, and widowhood. As you are going into a healthy aging, you live for long years. That is a very good symptom, yes. But are you having a healthy aging? That is what is to be given importance to. Healthy aging where all the comforts what is required for your age, that is to be met out with. So when a group of people who are economically well off, for them healthy aging will not be a problem. If the family members are not taking care of them, it can be very well met out by other institutions. But the question is here again to a group of population where who are economically dependent on others. So economic dependencies becomes the major part is to be highlighted here in the discussion. So, as based on the National Sample Survey Organizations, it is highlighted that nearly half the elderly are fully dependent on others, while 20% of the elderly are partially dependent on others for economic needs. It is only 20% are partially dependent. Others, majority, 80% are economically dependent on others for their day-to-day requirements. And data show that 85% of the age had to depend on others for their day-to-day maintenance. Day-to-day maintenance means for a day for your very basic meal also you have to depend on somebody. And this situation is even more worsen for the female elderly. Because the trend of women being employed is of contemporary scenario, but a group which is now in the aging process, for them who were unemployed at their young age, okay, they are to dependent either on their spouse or either of their family members, and especially the children's. And the children's, if they are not providing the support which is required for them for their age, then they are the most suffering population. Therefore, the elders living with the families are also largely contingent on the economic capacity of the family unit for the economic security and well-being. What the family is, accordingly they are taken care. Not the required support is not able to be provided by the family means they cannot demand for their needs. Therefore, elderly often who do not have financial protection, such as sufficient pension and other forms of social security, they are the one who has to be given much importance. They are the one who will be challenging for the society, where the welfare schemes for the people who are living in poverty and who are financially dependent on others are to be given much importance in our society. So the financial dependence of the elderly had made them to become more vulnerable to infections. They have very low priority to their own health. If you are not financially supportive, you cannot take care of your health. So always health issue being a major problem, they start their life or day with all complications, whatever they have, and keep taking care of the day-to-day lifestyle. And as we know very well, migration of younger generations as well as lack of proper care in the family and sufficient housing, economic hardships, and breakup of joint family has made most of the old age homes seem more relevant even in the Indian context. Why is the elderly trying to move for any paid residential homes or unpaid residential home or any other place? Means it is because of the above factors. A large scale migration of the younger populations is taking place for either education or for employment or for any other reasons. And that too, rural to urban migration is on a race, and lack of proper care in the family. Even if the family members are there, the elderly, as with certain issues, they are not being catered to their requirements. Because, you know, from the age they have been traveled, they were leading the family, they were the kata of the family. But once the children take up the responsibility, the reciprocal relationship which is to be given back to the old people is not to that extent. And that is where the old age becomes always a problematic situation, even when they have the family members too. And sufficient housing. Urban areas always have this problem of main housing facility. Mainly in cosmopolitan cities and metropolitan cities, for a single couple to live itself will be a problematic issue, and to have the other members, that will be another issue. So they leave their family members in their hometowns, and where they are put into a situation to reside alone with their couple, or at cases all alone. And nowadays families are not earning to that extent where they are able to support to their own requirements. So providing a support to their parents are also becoming a hard task for the young couples too. Then breaking up of joint family, as I have already pointed out, very rarely joint families are found in urban areas, and rural areas are still having this, and it should continue. That will support the old people too. And this increasing life expectancy and urbanization and lifestyle changes has led to emergence of varied problems for the elderly in Indian scenario. So, me moving on to the conclusion part. So, based on all the above discussions, I like to conclude it has to be remembered that comprehensive care for the elderly is possible only with the involvement and collaboration of family, community, and the government. Not one person alone can shoulder that responsibility. You can't just keep on blaming the family, or it is not the community will come forward to take care of your old people at home. No, that is also not possible. Or government can give with some pensions or welfare schemes, etc., for the old people and mainly for the economically downtrodden people. But the government will not entirely care of their needs. Here it is a collaboration of all these three units. The family is the first predominant support for the elderly people, then the community to its extent possible. When a family is moving for job or education to the urban areas, if they have a rural people in their locality, they can look at to their basic needs. And the government, yes, as monetarily supporting them or providing them with other day-to-day requirements of food, homing, shelter, etc. The government has to play its role. So it is a combination of all these three groups equally will come up, means the elderly population can have a healthy aging. Therefore, India should prepare to meet the growing challenges of caring for its elderly population. And all social service institutions in the country need to address to this social challenges to the elderly in order to improve the quality of life. Quality of life matters a lot. Everybody, yes, we are living, no doubt. We can lead a life whatever way is possible, even with a very minimal food for a day, or one day a meal, or even without that, with proper sheltering, or sleeping on the roadside, or without proper clothing, or having a very comfort clothing, etc. That is where is to be given much importance to. Quality of life matters irrespective of age. And once you are in the old age, that is to be given much importance. Therefore, it is a need to initiate, request, and more appropriate for all the social welfare programs which are to be initiated by, which are introduced by the government, and which should suffix to all the requirements of the old age populations. And talking about the legislative measures, yes, you have the act which has been prevailing to take care of the older people. But to the extent which this act has been live, and to what extent the older people are taking care or have any knowledge of the act, or filing any case related to any abuse which has been given to them by the family or the community, or etc., which is something undoubtful. Very meager population only are aware of this act, or coming forward, or to highlight about the abuse which has been given to them, because they are not concerned to put their children at stake. Therefore, the dignity of the elderly matters to a great extent. Leading a life with dignity. Okay. When going to the that's the right to life. Okay, leading a life with dignity matters a lot, as which is being given in the preamble of the Constitution. So, in addition to this, there is a need to develop an integrated as well as responsive system to meet out the care and needs and the challenges of the elderly. It's an integrated and responsive system. I do repeat, once everything has to come together. As individual, at times we cannot do certain things, and we should feel it is responsible of every individual. You have your aged parents, means it is your responsibility. The grandchildren, they have their grandparents at home, means yes, it is their responsibility, where their needs and challenges are to be met out and given great consideration. So I conclude here by saying every one of us will be growing old. Let's make our elders happy. So growing old is humbling, and it is takes effort to accomplish this stage of life with dignity. So let us all live a life of dignity. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a wonderful session. You have covered each and everything about our elders, their lives in details. You have started from this how the Vedas give us morals, and starting from every individual from the birth we are taught. But in this urban life, we are losing those morals some way or the other. We can say that. Also, how you have also included the points how we can be helping the elders, and how we can, most importantly, what I felt is that you have mentioned that they should also live a life with dignity. At times in our life, we forget that. Not just to our elders, but maybe someone else who is outside. We do not respect them as we should do. With that, now, ma'am, we'll be taking up some questions. So I would request everyone, if there is any question, to please put it in the chat box, or you can ask ma'am by opening your mic. For now, ma'am, we have two questions from Raman Goswami.
Yes.
First question is that, is it not true that the Chatura Sharma is responsible for social inequality in our society along with Dalitism?
Along with? I
Dalitism, ma'am.
Along with Dalitism.
Dalitism, yes, ma'am.
Chaturva. uh, uh, Going to the Vedic literatures, like we had been in a society, like we were following the fourfold ashramas. In a society where we were traditionally following these ashrama system, that was required for that time, not required, that was a day of life during that period of time. And we know, like we have been evolving day by day. The society has taken up a lot of transformation and changes. So now this Chaturva system, what is there at that time, in what way will have its implications to Dalitism? That is the question now you ask me.
Pardon, ma'am?
Let it make me clear with the, I didn't get you properly. Like, it is there in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you just repeat the question again?
Is it not true that the Chatura Sharma is responsible for social inequality in our society along with Dalitism?
Okay. See, like the inequalities is like whatever we as a sociologist I'm highlighting here is, it was based on the Varna system. The fourfold Varnas which prevailed in those days, based upon the nature of your occupation, you have been categorized into different Varnas. So, like, you know, the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Shudras. These four group of people, they were attached to the, whichever the occupation they were attached to, they were categorized as a group of people, and the status was attached to them accordingly. You know, one group was attached to the religious aspects, one group to the administrative aspects, and another group only to the, you know, what do you call, like the trading and other things, and the other group of people.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I am asking the question, and my name is Roman Goswami.
Yes, sir.
Although the yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The Varnas are main responsible. I think the Varnas are main responsible for the social inequality and the Dalitism, even now today, ma'am. Because today we are progressive properly towards modernization, but we cannot erase out the term like Dalitism, marginalization, oppression from not only our dictionary but also our mind.
Okay, I get you. Okay. See, that's why I started to highlight about the Varna system is that had been the root cause for this fourth category of people to have originated in our society. You know, like based on the nature of occupation, they were being categorized as the Shudras. So that group of people, yes, whom we call as the Dalits, they are the marginalized group of the society. They are undergoing, in spite of various developments in the society, lot of discriminations are still in existence. I can't say no to this question at all. Why it is prevailing means, yes, the deep-rooted system from our society, we are not in a position to totally, there are a lot of laws there, a lot of legislations which have been passed, a lot of actions are taken by the government, but still this is not being changing, means it has become a strong impact in the human minds. Okay. Though you're educated, though you're economically well off, though you have a status in the society, but in one way or the other, you try to discriminate them because we call them based on the caste which they are attached to. This is being, when you are able to recognize a person, this person belongs to this category, this person belongs to this caste, this person belongs to that community, means there itself immediately the discrimination starts. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Once your identity of who you are
1 minute, ma'am.
Yes.
1 minute. Our society is 3,500 years old society.
Yes, more than that also.
More than that. But we are changing with the passage of time. But we cannot changing from our inner self. That all are equal.
From our?
And that,
pardon me, from our?
We are changing from time to time. But we cannot change our inner self, ma'am.
Inner self, yes. as human beings, yes, we have to change. We have to fit in ourselves to the existing social scenario. Yes, because otherwise we cannot survive. But what we have carried from the history, it's all past events only. It's something which has taken place for centuries and centuries ahead. We don't have any knowledge of that now, only through the text or through other modes. But still, we feel this is something prevailing in our mind means, or in our hearts means, where as individuals, if we realize that it's no more going to give any good for our you are stopping the growth of one group of people means, in what way it is going to stop you? Every individual have the rights to grow, right to live. That's why I said the elders also lead a life with dignity. So every human being, that is given very, very clearly in the constitution. But still, we are trying to discriminate means it's all in the mindset, as you have very well pointed out. The mindset of human beings should change. Okay, and really, if whichever the community is discriminating at the community, yes, strict, stringent action has to be imposed. That too, I know very well in India, rural communities are still having this drawback. They're not ready to come out of the nutshell and feel that every human beings are equal, whether based on your caste or religion or creed or language, what you speak, or your color or whatever it is. Yes, it all depends on the mindset of human beings. Yes, thank you. Anything else? Next question, please.
Ma'am, the next question was asked by Shriti Chetri.
Yes.
She asks that what is the mental age of an elder person, and does this have any effect on the family?
Mental age. Mental age.
What is the mental age of an elder person, and how does that affect the family?
I can take it like this. When we say mental age means like there are old people even in the 80s, 90s also feel that they are very young, hale, healthy. I think you should have seen or heard of somebody in your own place or in any part of the India, etc. All depends upon your mind. Again, how do you feel yourself? There are people at the very 40 or 30 itself feel that I am aging, I am not healthy, I am not able to perform my activities. There are even youngsters nowadays who are becoming weak than the old people also, I can say. The trend is changing nowadays. Old people, it is your physical illness might be a problem, or your aging symptoms will show that you are aged. But being healthy in your mind, feeling you are not aged in your mind, that makes you people to do lot of things. You can be part of the community, very actively involved. It is again an individual aspect. I feel I'm young of whatever age I might be. Some people you cannot recognize by the appearance what is their age. But there are others it is the mental makeup and your physique which gives you the identity of who you are. So your mental makeup is you feel young at whatever your age is. Means I don't think there is a mental age which has been required for any human being. I don't know how because the way the question has been put in, like in what angle they have asked me, I don't know. But this is what I find that this is a reply. I don't know whether the person is convinced with this. Of any other clarification you need, I can say to that. Because there is no mental age, because for any person 60 and above is old age. They are called a senior citizen according to the Census Survey of India, or according to the definitions or whatever it is. You have 3 categories of aging people only: age, old age, young age, and middle age. Okay, 60 to 70 young age, 70 to 80 is old age, 80 and above is old age. Old age.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope Shriti Chetri's query is cleared. Ma'am, the next question we have is from Kishan Bagri, Assistant Professor Finance Department, Royal Global University. Sir or ma'am asks, is government not responsible for increasing of population in the country like India, and there is no proper scope for jobs after completion of higher education? How will today's generation manage the elderly people?
Yes, population is increasing. It is a good symptom for any nation as such. But at the same time, the nation should also be supportive. The government also should be supportive to cater to the requirements of its growing population. Both is to be looked upon. And is it the government alone responsible for the growing population? Means no. Definitely, I will not. We cannot blame the government. We have to blame the individuals again. We should be responsible as a married couple. We should. Those olden days, you had more than 10 or 12 or 15 children. Okay, the family size it was too large. Yes, people, they lived very happily. It was a satisfied life. Everything was fine on those days. But now things have totally changed. Like bringing up a single child itself, it's becoming difficult. And nowadays, still there are the scenarios where here is to be looked up. Economically well-off families, they maintain the single child or two child norm. But economically poor or the weaker families, they are the one where the children are more in number. So that is the wealthy people are not able to take care or they are limiting the family size. No, they know, they are educated, they know how the scenario, how the society is, how, in what way we are to be responsible to the society to reduce the population or whatever it is. But among the uneducated group of people or whom we call the illiterate people or who are economically weak off to give a proper comfort and care to the children's, they do not realize that they should limit the size of the family. Government has taken a lot of initiations. Yes, like family planning methods and programs have been introduced. It's few years back, it was all you could have heard a lot of such programs or were on raised in every media and other things. But nowadays, people are aware of this family planning programs and whatever is to be done for it. But still, most of the rural people are not coming forward to have at least a single child or a double child, whatever the norm. And again, in our society, we have this practice of having the male child or giving importance to a male child to bring up the family also. So that also, okay, for first child is a girl child. I have seen many families in my neighborhood also. There are 5 girl children, and the parents they're waiting for again a 6th male child. Where in such cases, yes, definitely the family size will increase, the population size of the nation will increase. And to the second question, what madam asked, old people, again, yes, when they are aging, it becomes the responsibility of the family members alone. We cannot keep blaming the government. Because nowadays healthy aging is taking place. Health facilities are increasing, not healthy aging. So in such cases, the longevity of the aged people are also increasing day by day. As you are living for more years, then you are to be supported for your own family, along with the other support systems from the government through various welfare schemes. Thank you.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with all these important points and aspects. You have very well cleared all the points we need to understand. You have given us the actual status of the elderly people, a ground reality. So with this, now we come to the end of this first session, starting with our technical sessions, that is the presentation of the papers. So I would request each and every
before that, I'd like to thank all the participants and all the organizers of the 3 days international conference for made me part of this, and for your valuable questions. And I hope my answers should have given a reply to the questions which you had asked me. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was an honor for us.